Toyota CEO Akio Toyoda made a very interesting and somewhat ambiguous comment about pursuing only electric vehicle strategy. He said electric vehicles are one option in addition to hybrids and hydrogen-powered cars. Then he talked about a silent majority. I find it kind of strange and ambiguous because how do you measure the majority and minority that is silent? In this report, I'm going to tell you what he said, why I think it's strange, and what we can make of it. Please listen to the end because at the end I'm going to ask a very important question about Toyota's EV future and talk about why this is an odd situation for Toyota. So Toyota Motors President Akio Toyoda said he is among the auto industry's silent majority in questioning whether electric vehicles should be pursued exclusively. Comments that reflect a growing uneasiness about how quickly car companies can do the transition. Automakers are making big bets on fully electric vehicles, investments that have been bolstered by robust demand for the limited number of models that are now available. I mean, imagine how many electric vehicles the auto industry has sold. People love electric vehicles. Still, challenges are mounting, particularly in securing parts and raw materials for batteries, and concerns have emerged in some pockets of the car business about the speed to which buyers will make the shift, especially as EV prices have soared this year. However, I learned yesterday that used Tesla prices are coming down. So Toyota CEO says people involved in the auto industry are largely a silent majority, Toyota said to reporters during visit to Thailand. He said silent majority is wondering whether EVs are really okay to have as a single option, but they think it's a trend, so they can't speak out loudly. I don't know about the silent majority, and I don't know how you can measure that. Perhaps he may be right, but I remember that three things destroyed the horse carriage business when the cars were invented: overconfidence, consistency, and risk aversion. Those who lost did so while decrying the new paradigm. I would love to have an electric vehicle, but so far I would love to keep my hybrid as well. Now, there is no silent majority in a digital connected world, in my opinion. 4 billion connected humans are silent. Really? Do you find it strange too? If yes or no, please let me know why or why not. I would like to hear really, guys, your opinion, although I'm not saying all those 4 people are in favor of electric vehicles. But to Toyota's credit, I want to say this too. It would be extremely difficult for an established company like Toyota to make the changes necessary to become as efficient as Tesla. Tesla operates entirely differently than how things are done. While major rivals including General Motors and Honda Motors have set dates for when their lineups will be all electric vehicles, Toyota has stuck to a strategy of investing in a diverse lineup of vehicles that include hydrogen-powered cars and hybrids, which combine batteries with gas engines. The world's biggest automaker has said it sees hybrids, a technology it invented with the debut of the Toyota Prius, which I own one in the 1990s, as an important option when EVs remain expensive and charging infrastructure is still being built out in many parts of the world. It is also developing zero-emission vehicles powered by hydrogen. Look, there is a quote I want to share with you. Because the right answer is still unclear, we shouldn't limit ourselves to just one option, Mr. Toyoda said during that meeting. Over the past few years, Mr. Toyoda said he has tried to convey this point to industry stakeholders, including government officials, an effort he described as tiring at times. Now, I have respect for Mr. Toyoda and I can understand him. Wall Street Journal's coverage of this subject points that global car companies have made a sharp pivot to electric vehicles within the last few years, driven partly by the success of EV-only maker Tesla. Traditional car makers such as Toyota, Ford, and GM are also facing new competition from startups such as Rivian Automotive and Lucid Motors, which make EVs exclusively and have captivated Wall Street in recent years. At the same time, the legacy car makers have much broader base of customers, including many living in rural areas and developing economies with unreliable electricity supplies. If you are in rural areas, you probably will want to have at least a hybrid vehicle in addition to an electric vehicle if you can afford all of that. And their gas engine business, legacy car companies, the gas business, are still driving to bulk of profits needed to fund the costly shift to electric vehicles, which not only require the development of new models, but also construction of new facilities and battery plants. Wall Street Journal's River Davis writes that the infrastructure to change electric vehicles is meanwhile still lacking in the United States and many other parts of the world, making owning an electric vehicle still a challenge for many types of consumers. But in my opinion, it's changing very rapidly. According to J.D. Power, the market share for electric vehicles in the United States has risen sharply in the last couple of years. As of October, it was around 6.5% of the total new car market, the firm said. But that is largely because EVs sales are growing faster in places such as California, where there are more options and greater willingness among the buyers to make the shift. J.D. Power analysts, that's what they said. Sticker prices for electric vehicles have also jumped this year because of the rising cost of battery materials, limiting the pool of buyers who can afford one. Auto executives say the uptake of electric vehicles could be uneven for some time and that gas-powered models, along with hybrids and plug-in hybrids, will endure for many years to come. Here's a quote. The coastal areas, the east and west coast, that's electrifying much quicker than the interior of the country, said Jim Rowan, chief executive of Sweden's Volvo car. Rowan said plug-in hybrids serve the purpose of providing buyers with an option if they aren't ready to go full electric and are important to warming them up to the technology. I personally like plug-in hybrids very much. Ryan Jerome, an Illinois-based dealer who owns several brand franchises, said he gets a lot of customers inquiring about electric vehicles, in part because of limited supplies. That might give the impression of robust demand, but it is unclear how it will materialize when inventory levels at dealerships normalize, he said. Is there interest in electric vehicles? Yes, it is more than 10 to 15% of our customers' base. No way, Mr. Jerome said. Mr. Toyoda's long-held skepticism about a fully electric future has been shared by others in the Japanese car industry as well. He is not alone. Take, for example, Mazda. Mazda Corporation executives once cautioned that whether electric vehicles were cleaner depends largely on where the electricity is produced. They also worried that electric vehicle batteries were too big and expensive to replace gas-powered models and better suited to the types of smaller vehicles that Americans didn't want. But here's one thing. You make battery one time and you use it for a very long time. You make gas-powered cars and you have to always extract oil. Nissan Motors, which launched the all-electric Leaf over a decade ago, had until recently taken a more cautious stance on electric vehicles, with executives saying they were waiting to see how the demand would materialize. Nissan chief executive Makoto Uchida said the company moved too aggressively with the Leaf early on, but lately demand for electric vehicles has been growing faster than many had initially expected. Nissan said last year it will spend roughly $14.7 billion to roll out new battery-powered models. Now, Mr. Uchida said it may need to spend more. You see, the demand for electric vehicles is growing faster. The wild card, he said, is regulations and government subsidies globally that could speed adoption even more. He said, would that be enough? The answer is it may not be, Mr. Uchida said. So back to Mr. Toyoda. Mr. Toyoda has argued that fully electric models aren't the only way to reduce carbon emissions, saying hybrid vehicles sold in the large volumes can also deliver a short-term impact. It's about what can be done now, he said. Mr. Toyoda's cautionary tone toward electric vehicles has caused some concern from investors and consumers that the automaker could be falling behind in the electric vehicle race. Toyota has been slower than rivals to roll out fully electric models in major markets such as the United States, with its BZ4X electric SUV being recalled earlier this year because of a potential safety problems. Mr. Toyoda said the automaker was taking all types of vehicles seriously, including electric vehicles. In late 2021, it revealed plans to spend up to $35 billion on its EV lineup through 2030. Since then, Toyota has disclosed sizable investments in electric vehicle manufacturing capacity in the United States. The Toyota chief also said alternatives to electric vehicles, such as hydrogen-powered vehicles, were beginning to get a warmer reception from government officials, members of the media, and others involved in the auto industry. I love hydrogen cars, but where do you charge them broadly? I mean, there are places you can find charging places, but not everywhere. 2 years ago, I was the only person making these kinds of statements, Mr. Toyoda said, talking about hydrogen-powered cars. Ford Motors hasn't set a date for when its lineup will be all electric vehicles. An earlier version of this report, actually from Wall Street Journal, incorrectly said it had. Also, Akio Toyoda is the chief executive of Toyota Motor. The homepage summary on an earlier version of this report you can find on Wall Street Journal, which the link I will have in the description of this video. So what do you think about silent majority? Can you measure the silent majority? If you found this report helpful, please let me know and give us thumbs up and share in social media, tweet it out. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're here first time, please subscribe to this channel for daily Tesla and electric vehicle news. God bless you, and I'll see you soon in our next report.